Alongside Brett Taveau, author of Unpacking Greatness, a Chiefs book you can find on Amazon. Brett, this play from the Chiefs, Kadarius Toney gets a running play. He obviously made a big buzz this past game against the Raiders, but a couple other details you pointed out to me make this thing fascinating. For one, Andy Reid going way back in his playbook to pull out a play. And obviously, another part of this is the Chiefs executing very well for this run to make it look this easy.
Yeah, when design meets execution is when you get these types of plays that are just, that everybody's talking about. Obviously, without the execution standpoint, we're not discussing this right here. So very well executed. And then, Andy Reid reaching into his bag of tricks to best utilize his personnel, which he's so good at.
Let's get to this. When we talked a couple weeks ago about the Chiefs sprint out play that helped win them the game against the Broncos. Well, this is a sprint out draw. So they kind of are using that particular thing to play off of it for this run play.
Right. Yeah. So they're going to line up in an 11 personnel, or they're going to stay in their 11 personnel, which is one tight end, one running back, which means three wide receivers, and being what's called a pony set, which is two running backs in a split back look there. I think where that comes from is from the old SMU days with Dickerson and Craig James with the Pony Express. I think that just kind of took with that particular backfield look. And then you see Kelsey flex there. And I think Smith-Schuster is to the field, and then MVS is to the boundary there. And they're going to sell sprint out to the right.
And watch 59 and 56 because they go with the flow, and that's exactly what the Chiefs want.
Exactly what they want. What that does is create angles for Humphrey and Kelsey, who are going to now, after selling sprint out, come back this way and try to get to the play side shoulder of 59 and 56 there.
Yeah, and we're going to go through the plus blocks here. We can go back over these, but this is kind of the fascinating part about football is if you watch it in 5 seconds, it's hard to pull out all these details. But as you can tell me, Brett, the coaches plus blocks in the grade room, that's exactly where you want to be, right? That's saying good job on that particular play.
Yeah, I can't watch this play here and see that anybody got a minus at all. As everybody, again, as we'll see, is able to stay engaged to the point where they needed to get an explosive run here.
And even MVS kind of looking at that and not getting a holding call when he sees the run is coming his way. And as you mentioned and pointed out to me, the Raiders had 2 unblocked players on this play, and those 2 guys made the tackle. That's exactly how you want run plays to go.
Yeah, so obviously the quarterback's not blocking anybody and the ball carrier's not blocking anybody. So the field safety, the strong safety, I guess you'll see him come in late, number 25 here. Number 37, the nickel. He was the guy lined up over Kelsey. Kelsey does such a good job getting to that Sam backer, his play side shoulder. And so the nickel and the strong safety are free.
And here they come to combine to make the tackle, but it's obviously down the field, and that's after successful play. Let's go real quickly and go back to every single one of those players and just watch them individually. You tell me what stands out from the film about each of their blocks. We will start with Kelsey starting off this play when we get back here to the beginning.
So, yeah, he's away from the play as the number 2 receiver. And I think this situation is very easily to do 2 things. It's very easy to take a play off or rest, so to speak. And then number 2, get a hold or a block in the back. And he does neither. And I don't think he gets the credit that he really deserves for being a good blocker, particularly in space. He's not lining up and putting his hand on the ground and making the highlight gap blocks and zone gap blocks like somebody like George Kittle is. And I think people just try to find holes in his game. But I really think he's just an amazing blocker in space, knowing the angles to take and then using both his length and his speed to be able to get on guys and stay engaged, which he does there.
Tell me about Creed Humphrey here, the center.
Yeah, so he's going to still sprint out to the right, and then you see he's going to get to the play side shoulder of 56, which is difficult. At this point, it basically becomes kind of a zone block, like he's blocking outside zone to the left, where he's really going to fight to get to that play side shoulder right there and to stay engaged, and then obviously get him on the ground.
Yeah, that's good from him there. Let's go back to McKinnon. He kind of leads the way through here.
Yeah, this is an ISO block basically, and this ends up being the weak side safety that rolls down. And at the when he closes out the space and gets to a point where he can block him, he just basically keeps him out of the play, which is his job there. And then, of course, MVS, his job is to basically get between the ball carrier and the corner in this particular play. And what's, I think, is really, um, of note here is he knows when to let go. At this point, if he stays with keep those hands on the shoulder pads, he's opened himself up for a potential holding call, which at that point, it's not worth it and would have been obviously taking this play off the board.
Well, all this stuff, again, 4 really good blocks by the Chiefs open up this 12-yard run. But the fascinating part you talked about was this is back in Andy Reid's bag of tricks, because you found this going back to 2016. Chiefs ran the same play. Look, it goes for a touchdown. And oh, by the way, guess who the running back was on that particular play? Some guy named Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, and credit to a couple of guys I follow on Twitter. I think, I can't remember exactly who they were. One's a football account, I think, called Spread Offense. And then another one was a Chiefs blogger. I can't remember his name, Caleb James, possibly, that had, tweeted this. And yeah, the exact same execution right here. Now, clearly you've got a little bit higher level of a player, not to take anything away from Toney, but also more of an opportunity for an explosive run because they were all the way back in minus territory. But again, like we said at the beginning here, Andy Reid, looking at his bag of tricks, what he's done in the past, and be able to fit the skill set of Kadarius Toney and say, let's put this in this week. Let's get him a touch and give him a chance to make something happen.
Yeah, in this space, you would say Tyreek did a little bit better with the unblocked guy here when he gets to open space and obviously makes a huge play out of this. But I also think just big picture wise, this kind of speaks to the Chiefs this year, which is they trade away Tyreek Hill. He gets the big contract. The Chiefs get resources back. Then they buy low on Kadarius Toney, and all of a sudden he's running these 25 to 30% of these gadget plays that Andy Reid has had in his playbook. So pretty creative for the Chiefs, the front office, and Andy Reid to kind of go about this, to continue to grab resources and fill in for Tyreek Hill in certain ways that don't cost as much money with Patrick Mahomes' contract on the books. So I think kind of fascinating, like you talked about, Brett, a way for coaches to bring in talent or get talent and kind of use them in creative ways to figure out how can I match up this with this. Obviously, this is a successful way to use Kadarius Toney in this particular game.
Yeah, and not only do you get the production of plays like this, but you also give the next opponent something on tape that they got to prepare for. They got to spend practice time defending. So, I mean, I just, as you said, that it's all about maximizing your personnel, being able to get even a fraction or a piece of what Tyreek Hill was able to provide for a very, very small fraction of the price that he would have cost.
Well, again, great execution by the Chiefs blockers here. Pretty cool for Andy Reid to go back in this playbook. I know they ran this play last year with Tyreek Hill as well, but all the way back to 2016, it shows these plays work again and again and again, but you sort of need the right personnel for it, the right people for it, and Andy Reid has found a role for Kadarius Toney. Some of that, at least a little bit of that, is that old Tyreek Hill role. So we'll be fascinating to see how that works out for the Chiefs here in the playoffs as well. That's going to wrap it up for the details for Jesse. And for Brett, this is Jesse. Be sure to tune in for another episode next week.